This talk in Jaipur received a standing ovation for 10 minutes and almost brought tears to my eyes. Orthopaedics, usual and unusual, my life story. If you want, you can pick up your cups of coffee and tea and come off here on a seat so that you can listen to me. Now this talk will tell you some interesting things. Who am I? Why this talk came about? And why this talk here at this place? My life as an orthopedic surgeon went through 3 phases. From 1985 to 2000, I was a surgeon. I returned from my Swiss training. I was an AO man. I was a prolific surgeon. I always operated and I fixed every fracture. 2001 to 2013, I was a convict prisoner in prison for 13 years and treated patients without any facilities. So from all the fancy facilities back to no facilities. And from 2013 onwards, I am a teacher and a practitioner. How I learned this invaluable lesson? My experiences gathered from studying a few thousand individuals in a closed environment with 100% follow-up to tell me if my methods were successful or not. So if you are going to live with the patients in the same compound for the next 10 years and you are keeping documentation, you can see nature do its process and you can understand how many things behave, why some things work and why some things don't work. So these are my experiences of practicing orthopedics in those times with limited or no facilities, treating desperate patients who had nowhere else to go. So you're not allowed to carry x-rays out of the prison. So I had to make drawings and my record keeping was in the form of kitchen sheets from the prison on the back of which a pencil I had drawn the details of the fractures, and I kept meticulous records of whatever I did, and that helped me to learn a lot of things. I spent 4,831 days in prison, that is 13 years. Total number of patients seen were 11,248, which means in prison I would see an average of 2 to 3 patients every day. Uniqueness of practicing orthopedics there is no X-ray machine in the prison hospital. There are no plaster Paris bandages or traction items, no lignocaine, no local anesthesia, no spinal anesthesia, no sedatives, very limited suture material and no other facilities. All of this in a very violent place where accidents and bone breakage were very common. If I was taken out of my cell to treat other prisoners, I had to treat them across the bars because they were locked on the opposite side. And when I was locked inside my room and when the jailer or jail officials or lawyer came to get treated, they were outside the grill gate and I had to treat them from this side of the bars. So doing a blood sugar through prison bars is rather easy. Taking a BP is a little tricky. Injections across the bar is almost a circus and yoga. But imagine reducing a dislocated shoulder through prison bars. It is indeed unfortunate that I couldn't take a video of my dislocations which I've done across the bar, and my shoulder reduction technique came about only by this, because I could not even approach the patient. He was on the other side of the bar, I was on this side of the bar, from this side I had to do it. So that's what led to the discovery of the shoulder method, which has now become popular, that almost 70% of people in the room have used it one time or the other with good success. So very simple examples. Jailer's son in the school had an accident, his ear was torn. They took him to Apollo Hospital, they quoted 70,000 for plastic surgery, for surgery. School people got scared, dropped the child back to the prison. Jailer calls me 8 o'clock in the night. I go to his room, son is sitting on the jailer's table, bleeding from the ear. About a week earlier, they had done some cataract surgery camp in the hospital. So there was 6-0 Prolene was there. My eyes are not good to see 60. There was a needle holder. So somehow put 13-14 stitches to reattach the torn ear. And later, when the patient went back to Apollo Hospital for stitch removal, they asked the plastic surgeon and the hospital where such beautiful stitches were put. When he said, "No, Dr. Prakash is at the prison," at the time a journalist was there in the hospital. So that fellow published this news in the newspaper. So shoulder reduction method became so popular that every day I get letters like this. The moment they reduce the shoulder painlessly, they will tell us, we thank Dr. Prakash and pray for him. So 6 unusual things which I am sharing with you today. 1, new method of shoulder dislocation. Most of you know, so I am going to skip over it. Extension casting of humerus fractures. PFO as an alternative to TKR in select cases. Treatment of backaches. Role of non-operative fracture management. And my non-orthopedic experiences in the prison, including reversal of heart disease and diabetes. The shoulder has been already done, so I am not talking. But this is important. Over 25,000 shoulders have been reduced worldwide with this method. 12 orthopedic surgeons have got their own shoulders reduced. Has been successfully used in football fields, kabaddi ground, Xerox shop, market, payment, church, court, temple festival, swimming pool, and even a supermarket. Tried once before it summoned the anesthetist. PFO, of course, we talked yesterday. Extension casting of humerus. Very interesting topic. This will find a lot of use and will add considerably to your practice if you do it exactly as I have shown you. In the past, I operated on all shaft of humerus by AO methods. Surgery is not undertaken on prisoners unless a life-threatening condition. So the burden of treating all fractures conservatively fell on me. I found that fractures treated with elbow inflection always malunited unless undisplaced and on occasions went into non-union due to plaster distraction. Whereas those treated with elbow in extension in full supination for a short while in a long arm cast always invariably united soon. This is primarily because biceps and triceps. When you flex, the humerus displaces. When you extend, the humerus becomes straight. 56 cases were treated in 13 years. All followed to 3 years or longer. All fractures united. 30 with little shortening. Elbow movements full at 6 months in every case. Full return to function with average of 2.5 months. And average time of clinical union was 9 weeks. So on average, humerus takes 9 to 10 weeks to unite if an orthopedic surgeon doesn't enter the room. So are we over-treating fracture shaft of humerus? Conservatively treated humeral shaft fractures never go into non-union if treated in extension cast. Full restoration of function in 3 months. Lightweight axillar to metacarpal head, long cast in supination and full extension. Convert to an arm cylinder in 3 weeks and begin elbow movements. Fracture unites in 8 weeks. This is the one that displaces. U-cast, hanging cast, all these are wrong. This was sent to me on WhatsApp. One phone call later, he converted to extension and there the fracture falls into place. That is the one, put in extension cast. In 1 week it settles. Over 50 surgeons these days are using this technique with remarkable success. That's one example. So, very soon, extension doesn't cause swelling of the hand. You don't need a sling. Ask them to use like a rifle bayonet and keep moving it. And see her. Second stage, we are putting arm cylinder. And there she has full function in less than 4 or 5 weeks. Long cylinder, short cylinder. Long, short. An example. 1, 2, 3. And there he is. This from Pakistan or Afghanistan, someplace. Next is backache. I had an opportunity to monitor and study a group of 67 patients with CT or MRI proven prolapse intervertebral disc treated by various means and could study them a period of 13 years with a mean follow-up of 10 years. So out of 14,000 patients which I have seen, there are only 60 backaches who had an MRI scan done before the admission. Because after getting admitted, they never had to see their MRI scan done. Few were already operated and came. Few had got epidural injections and came. And few in the present were not operated. So I had an equal balance of patients. One who was under the knife, one who was under the needle, and one who didn't get anything. Matched in age, all had PIDs, and I could follow entirely all of them for 10 full years. So my inclusion criteria was everybody should have a radiologically big disc, and symptoms should be there, SLR should be restricted, and one was undergone operation, he is undergone operation. If he is advised operation and is denied operation, he is a part of my study. Now you can see the age distribution is fairly uniform, 20 to 60. Around 51% were treated by me non-operatively. Other 50% either had an injection or surgery. All operated cases were operated by orthopedic and neurosurgeons outside the prison. Conservative treatment was done by me. Now look at the final evaluation. Operated treatment does the worst at 10 years. Disability index is high, complications are high, and no treatment does the best at 10 years. These are CT prone, neurologically positive backaches with discs. So there is no difference between epidural injection and no treatment. And surgery gave the worst results with permanent complication in 19% patients. Failed back, paresthesia. So moral of the story is never operate on a prolapsed disc. Even those with neurological deficit or bladder problem get well after some time. And this is purely anecdotal. I had a massive disc, I had an EHL weakness, almost a foot drop, and had urinary retention for almost the whole night. I was wanting to self-catheterize myself. Somehow I passed during, I was dribbling for 2 or 3 days. That time I was 95 kgs. And as there was no neurosurgeon, as there was no operation, no operation could be done. Nothing was done. I just ate some steroids, ate some painkillers, and in about 3 months I had started recovering. By 6 months I was normal. Once I lost my weight, I now climb up 5 flights of stairs. I have absolutely no problems. I can walk on my heel, walk on my toe, stand for hours, and not do surgeries. Now, I then went to the literature and looked. Has anybody compared non-operative with operative treatment? Yes. So the Cochrane review of surgery with lumbar disc prolapse says that there is no scientific evidence on the effectiveness of any form of surgical decompression or fusion for degenerative lumbar disc prolapse compared with natural history, placebo or conservative management. So anybody above 40 should never receive a disc surgery for any reason whatsoever. This will be totally opposite of books, but this is my personal observation. And this, another study says that active conservative treatment was extremely effective in patients who had symptoms, and clinical findings would normally qualify him for surgery. So in my book, the principal indication for disc surgery: holiday for the surgeon and spouse, college admission for surgeon's son, a new car or a holiday home, or possibly even a speedboat if he operates every back. There is something called scrotocerebral index, balls over brains ratio. Our balls say go ahead and operate, our brains say go softly. So we must achieve a balance, and before putting a knife to a back, think twice. If it was my wife or my mother or my father, would I do this back? The lessons I learned there was never operate in fracture clavicle, fracture neck of humerus, children below 10, prolapsed discs. Very few exceptions are there where a knife is needed in any of these cases. Now I have a large pool of subjects in a closed environment, enabling me to conduct numerous studies. Amongst other studies, I also performed physical and anthropometric measurements of over 10,000 patients and prison officials. And one of the studies enabled me to understand the knee sizes and plan the ideal dimension for a TKR implant for the Indian population spread, leading to the birth of my Lara knee. Now what happens, prison is supposed to have a doctor who used to come once a week and sign for 7 days and go. Every new prisoner has to be weighed. He is to be examined for injuries and his medical record has to be filled up before he is put into the main prison. He will be in a quarantine block. This never happened. So within a month when I was getting bored there, I volunteered. I said early morning 7 o'clock when I get up, I will go and look at the patients. That I started measuring their limbs, arm, forearm, leg, varus angle, valgus angle, penile sizes, any wounds, injuries, body weight. I made records. I didn't know how it will be useful for me. Even now I am collating the data and looking, sifting through it, and each time I see I get a new idea. Now this was varus study. We find most of us doing TKRs, we do TKR in varus knees. But what percentage of population has varus knees? And what is the correlation of varus to arthritis? This conducted over 12 years, 14,000 Indian males were studied, including prisoners and prison staff. Now this was the thing, the neutral knees, out of 14,000 knees, around 5,200 were neutral and 1,800 were valgus. Whereas 7,642, that is 50%. That roughly means around 50% of Indian population will be the ideal candidate for TKR at some stage or other. If you have neutral to valgus knee, even at 90 years, your knee is absolutely perfect. Like my father is 87 and his X-ray is normal. Because he got 6 degree valgus. I have got a 5 degree valgus and I have never had deep problems in my life. My assistant Sheshadri, who is hardly 26, has got gross varus and even now he gets middle compartment pain. So, age and varus. With age, varus progresses. So, if we take 100 people above 40, you will find a larger number of them having varus knees. You take 100 people below 40, you will find lesser number. And this is very logical and rational, that OA symptoms directly correlated to the degree of varus. And varus, once it occurs, it never corrects back, it only progresses till the death of the patient. So, more than 50% Indian knees have varus deposition, though not all varus knees have symptoms of OA. Severity of symptoms had a direct correlation to the degree of varus, and after 30 degrees, all knees are symptomatic. Anybody who has got more than 30 degree varus has to be symptomatic. And varus of the knee gradually and progressively increases with age. This was the observation that led to development of both PFO and my Lara knee, which is a 12,000 rupee knee, story about the later. And that's how I designed the knee, which was first hand drawn and then computer modeled based on the study of Indian bones. So I took about 4,000 tibia, anatomy tibias, measured them, measured CT scan measurements, measured radiographic measurements. That's the first prototype of my knee which came up 2.5 years back. And this complete knee, all 3 components, I was selling for 12,500 rupees. Now the factory is going to change hands and some other orthopedic surgeon is going to run it, because at this age I can't do all. And this was another new knee which I had designed, 7 left, 7 right, with 1 mm poly, PS, CR, CS, all in one platform. And this knee was supposed to cost around 17,000 rupees. We need effective instrumentation for the use of the knees. So we have designed this new set of instrumentation also. And teaching and training for whatever you design has become a part of the knees story. Then in the prison, there was a chap with an amputation who was psychologically very depressed that he couldn't afford a prosthesis. So I learned the rubber technology and fabricated one upper limb for him, cosmetic prosthesis. And that led me to evolve this silicone models of hand and feet which you are using for the workshop. And these type of models have been brought for the first time in the world. So this helped me to make models for this conference, and I introduced silicone models for the first time in Delhi workshop. Then 30 years, long time. What are the other things besides orthopedics? I wrote 106 books that make 25 million handwritten words. And you can see all these registers, chock-a-block full of my writing. Haven't had time to publish anything. These will be the books. So we have another group called Beyond Orthopaedics, where we share non-orthopedic books, and these I am posting there. And those are the number of books I wrote. Then I was written by the art bug. So I started doing watercolors. And this was a watercolor of somebody taking a selfie. But then prison, no videos and no cameras. Selfie craze has hit everybody. So what do? I started drawing my own selfies from photographs. I made designs. And this expertise in watercolor helped me so much that I am now illustrating all my books myself. So my book of surgical exposures with all its drawings has been done by hand. From there I progressed to acrylic colors, then oil painting, charcoal sketches, caricatures. Then I wrote the whole Mahabharata and Ramayana in a graphic format. So this Ramayana graphic, we have tried to make it as an app at some stage. Then I entered into sculpting. Painting was only 2 dimension, sculpting is 3 dimension. So I learned about materials, fiberglass, acrylic, plaster, resins, epoxy, and all the. Then I went into metallurgy. I started casting metals. In the jail itself, we made a furnace. We used to get ingots. We used to melt them. We used to make dyes, and we used to pour them into that. And he started an art and craft industry in the prison for prisoners. And these were the part of that. And these were all bronze sculptures we had cast in the prison. And that helped me to learn the casting technology to manufacture our knees. So this time when I went to a caster, I gave him better ideas to get a more stronger but lighter prosthesis. Materials I researched rubber, masking fluids. Then I made a new thing called Prague clay. Prague clay is air drying polymer clay. So it comes in polymer and monomer in various colors. When you mix it up, it becomes like a dough. You make any small sculpture item, leave it. Within 45 minutes, it becomes rock hard like plastic. So it's an epoxy clay. And these are the various items we made with epoxy clay. This is called Prague clay. I got a patent for it. Besides the one, during my prison stay, I have made application for 18 patents in various industries, including hovercrafts and ski board designs and clays and things like that. Then this is a latex rubber molding compound for artists. Then we started doing cinema special effects, makeup and horror makeup and all. And many Tamil film industry people used to come to the prison to get these sort of masks and horror stuff made from us. Around this time I realized that my life was about to end and my general condition was very bad. Interesting story. 2008, I was 51 years old. I weighed 86 kilos. I was asymptomatic. I smoked 20 cigarettes per day. I drank 1 liter of coffee with milk and sugar, 6 chapatis, 3 in the morning, 3 in the night, some sabji, and 2 cups of yogurt. That's all my diet. But by 2009, I had become 91. I would pant while climbing stairs. I had cut down to 10 cigarettes per day. Food remained the same. By 2009, when I came out on parole, I got myself medically examined and my HbA1c came out to be 13.2. My sugar was 316. My lipid profile was screwed up. ECG showed inferior wall ischemia. Treadmill could not complete beyond second stage. And an angiogram showed a triple vessel block. In less than 40 days. Now that was my word. Angiogram showed triple vessel coronary block. I was advised urgent angioplasty by a cardiothoracic surgeon. But then I had to return to the prison the next day. I had come out on parole. And to get a medical parole was a big complicated process for surgical operation. I decided that no, if I have to live, I have to treat myself. I must understand what is diabetes. I must understand what is ischemia. And if this disease comes, this should go. You can see that in 3 months, my Weight had come by 10 kg, the weight had come down. From 91 I was in 81 kgs. My HbA1c came to 9.2 from 13. Pulse was 106. No panting. In 6 months, I was 68 kilos. My HbA1c was 4.1. Random sugar was 72. Pulse 68. BP 110 by 70. And I was able to run up 6 flights of stairs without panting. I repeat, and just showed that I did not have any blocks. So this is 2011, everything status maintained. That is 2013, status still maintained. And you can see me presently. This has been my parameters all throughout. That's my recent one, last year or something. So again 4.8 HbA1c will be there. I can work 14 hours a day effortlessly, no medications. And 3 hours of book writing per day, 2 hours of art and sculpture per day, 3 small vodkas twice a week, smoke 8 BDs per day, asymptomatic. So how did I do it? 1, strict diet. 2, lifestyle modification. 3, strong motivation. 4, determined efforts. 5, never daunted by failures. 6, living a life of adventure and thrill. Morning breakfast, only fruits. 5-6 varieties of fruits. That's the morning breakfast. Morning coffee, tea, black. That's my typical daily lunch. Green salads, 125 grams of grilled chicken without oil for protein. Otherwise you can take 100 grams of nuts. Then an apple in the afternoon, 1 pear in the evening, and night food. So, this regime reversed my triple level blocks, reversed severe diabetes for which I was taking 24 units of insulin per day, made me lose 35 kilos of weight, reduced my pulse rate from 116 to 72, and brought down my diastolic BP from 96 to 76. Even my grey hair started turning black. I was all white haired. After this diet, my hair started becoming black. So it's age reversal. So, how does this work is, I have not eaten rice or wheat for the last so many years. I have not touched dairy product. Except when I come for conferences, I am allowed once a week cheat day. Even those cheat days I am not taking. They say in 7 days, 6 days you have to be on the diet. 1 day you can do whatever you want. But nowadays I don't even do that. I reserve it for the conferences. When I come here, I can't insist on fruits in the morning and salads in the afternoon and milkless, sugarless tea. So I have it. But that's very, very sporadic. Otherwise, I do not take pulses, I do not take rice, I do not take wheat, I do not take dairy products. And the reason for this is man was not born to eat all this junk. 46,000 years back, rice and wheat occupied less than 1.5% of the plant life on this earth. Today they are 74%. 60,000 years back, chicken was only 1% of the fowl population on this earth. Today chicken is 68% of the bird population on this earth. Man has exterminated other non-useful birds and is growing chicken for food. Primitive man was a hunter-gatherer. He was not an agriculturist. So he would pluck the fruits from the tree, cut the vegetables from the bushes, and eat the dead and decaying meat left over by lions and hyenas, and hunt fresh for fish or whatever he could eat. So he was not cooking it, he was not salting it, he was not preserving it. Man, that is why exhumed bodies of 90-year-old people have all teeth. Here at 40, everybody has got 5 fillings. At 50, you have got implants in the mouth. So man was not made to eat what man produces. Man is made to eat what nature produces for him. But it's a difficult diet. Very serious patients, I advise them, whoever has followed it, it works. And to my good fortune, at least 30 to 40 orthopedic surgeons are following this. And they all had wonderful results of their diet. Then of course I was released, and much to my surprise, I found that 5 patients are waiting for me outside the prison, outside my gate when I went. I don't know. The newspapers and television said, "Bagaram reputation," but a patient scared them. The next day of my release, I began operating. I don't know what luck I have. 13 years I never touched the knife. The moment I was released, from the next day I started operating as if nothing had happened. So I didn't lose touch of anything. So nature was kind on me. My experience, art and sculpting probably made my fingers more accurate. And surgery went on brilliantly. I attracted only complex and unusual cases, and nature has helped me so far. So the newspapers put up a notice, doctor does 11 surgeries after 13 years in prison. In the last 2 years, I began my practice again. I now specialize in complex and referral cases only. And since then, I have designed ultralight rings, the rings which we are using for the conference. I have written 5 books, 2 more are coming. And the current book in writing is me, Dr. Arvind Divakar Jain and Dr. Ram Keval Shah from Nepal, along with Augusto Sarmiento and Laurel Natta. We are writing the definitive, authoritative book on non-operative fracture management. That's going to be a huge book, 800 pages, and will come with DVDs and should be released in January. I got an ISO 9001 certificate for my clinic, and this book has now been translated into Spanish, German and Chinese. This is my book on Atlas of Orthopaedic Exposures, primarily watercolors drawn fully. Drawings are a little more clear than pictures, I feel, as far as surgical steps are concerned, and it's become very popular. This is the new book on non-operative management. Legend Augusto Sarmiento is the co-author of the book. I plan to teach, educate, workshop, conferences, design and develop instruments, social media teaching groups. With me and between me and Divakar, we have close to 42 WhatsApp groups, each with 250 members, many dedicated to specialties and subspecialties. We share PDF files, books, an invaluable amount of orthopedic literature on these groups. Our group will now be termed Beyond Orthopaedics, and in this group too, I will be posting a lot of books, videos. You post your comments, and all our faculty are members of the group, so you can ask your doubts. These 2 books have run through the first edition, and the second edition is in the process. These PFO book and RISC book are again doing very well. Workshop and conferences as we are doing today. I have an exotic collection of implants, probably the largest collection of arthroplasty implants in India, and I plan to establish an orthopedic museum. Anybody visits Madras, you are welcome to come to my house and look at my collection. This is the world's first conference where we have been discussing concepts, methods and orthopedic rationale beyond books and commerce. So take home messages. It is not where you are that matters. What matters is what you do. There is a photograph of me in a prison uniform, and there is a sculpture called Yama, which is an 8-foot sculpture which I fabricated in 72 hours as a part of an attempt of a record, and eventually it was sold for charity for 2.5 lakhs. They can take away your liberty, only you can take away your freedom. They can imprison your body, only you can imprison your mind. A physician is never off duty. He is there 24/7, 365. So if you are a doctor, you are on a flight, you are on a train, in emergency, you have to rush. A scientist finds research material wherever he is, be it the prison also. Keep meticulous records, you don't know when they will be useful. So everybody maintain a surgical logbook, routinely maintain it, write good detailed notes, not what is scribbled in your case sheet. And when you find time, look back at your cases. Every time you read your old notes, imagine yourself in the theatre. These days my record keeping is so meticulous that I do 100% video documentation of all my surgical cases from the process of consent until the final discharge and follow. Which means the video camera will be on 2 iPhones by 2 different dedicated videographers, one to shoot it for the book and one to shoot it for records. So that if anything happens, I know what has happened and how to correct my mistake. People who are afraid of letting their mistake exposed are the ones who don't maintain records. If any mishap happens during surgery, be the first to document it and be the first to tell the patient. that this did not go as per my expectations and I will do my level best to improve it. That is the only way to avoid being sued. And more importantly, never, never, never comment on your colleague's work to the patient. You can discuss in conferences, you can discuss in orthopedic groups, but when a patient gets an X-ray, please never say which donkey or monkey did this, why was this done, this should not have been done, this has been done wrongly. Because the whole society is our enemy anyway. Why do we need enemies amongst us? So let us be all together and support each other, good or bad. Keep smiling, for no trouble lasts forever. The rainbow is always out there. More than 85% fractures can be managed conservatively with excellent results. Let us not allow commercial research to convince us otherwise. Procedures like PFO should be tried out in proper cases before rushing into arthroplasties in UK. We must try to achieve synergy with nature, assisting natural healing, than compete with it and bypass nature. And those are the collection of pets with whom I live. I live in a museum-like house with 40 pets in Chennai. So any one of you who is coming to Chennai, you are welcome to meet me. I am extremely grateful for all of you for giving me an opportunity to gather together a group of diverse minds who could share inordinately special experience with you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much, very much. Very good. Very good.